The week of August 11th in Salem, truth will claw its way to the surface. Families will fracture, loyalties will be tested, and for some, trust will be shattered forever. A father will be betrayed by his own son. A doctor will quietly confess she knows far more than she's saying. And a young girl will face the one thing she's been running from, her greatest fear. This is Days of Our Lives, and this week, no one leaves unscathed. The tension in the courtroom is almost unbearable. The fluorescent lights above seem harsher than usual, casting stark shadows across Rachel Black's face as she takes her seat at the witness stand. Her palms are damp, her lips pressed tightly together, and for a moment, she avoids making eye contact with anyone. Across from her, Belle Black sits poised, her shoulders square, her voice calm yet charged with a quiet force. Every question she asks is meticulously calculated, each one a step deeper into the minefield Rachel has been desperate to avoid. Tell us about the night of E.J. DiMera's shooting. The words hang in the air like a weight. Rachel swallows hard, shifting in her seat. Belle's tone is steady, but her gaze is razor-sharp, reading every twitch, every pause, every nervous flicker in Rachel's eyes. Each question feels like a chisel, cracking away at the carefully constructed wall Rachel has built around that night. The courtroom seems to close in around her. The murmurs from the gallery fade to silence in her ears, replaced by the deafening sound of her own heartbeat. And then the realization slams into her like a freight train. Her answers, even the slightest slip, could be the nail in Johnny DiMera's coffin. If she tells too much, he could go to prison. If she lies, she risks exposing herself. Her hands tighten around the wooden edge of the stand, knuckles white. Behind her composed facade, her mind is spinning with fear and guilt. Is she simply terrified of condemning someone she cares about, or is she protecting a truth so dangerous it could obliterate more than just one life? Beyond the heavy wooden doors of the courtroom, the air is just as charged. E.J. DiMera catches up with Belle Black, his voice laced with frustration and something far more dangerous, desperation. He wants to explain, to twist the narrative back into his favor, as he's done so many times before. But Belle isn't giving him the opening. Her eyes are cold, her voice unflinching. I meant what I said, E.J., you're dead to me. The words don't just sting, they burn. For E.J., a man used to commanding respect and manipulating outcomes, hearing them is like being stripped of his power in broad daylight. Belle turns to leave, her heels striking the marble floor with a finality that feels like a sentence being passed. E.J. stands frozen for a split second, his jaw tightening. Then the dam breaks. He paces, muttering under his breath, the anger in his eyes shifting into something far more volatile. His hands clench into fists at his sides, not because of the insult itself, but because Belle's rejection reminds him of a truth he can't stand. He's not in control anymore. And when E.J. DiMera feels powerless, history shows he's capable of making reckless, even destructive, moves. The question isn't if he'll strike back, it's how hard and who will be caught in the blast. The courtroom is thick with tension as E.J. DiMera rises, his voice booming with authority. His next witness is the unpredictable Kristen DiMera, and every seasoned observer in the room knows that questioning her is like handling live explosives. E.J. presses forward anyway, his tone clipped, his words laced with accusation. Kristen, ever the sly operator, twists and sidesteps his questions with a smirk, forcing him to push harder. But this isn't just cross-examination. This is a battle of wills, and it's starting to look less like strategy and more like ego on display. Then, Chanel Dupree DiMera takes the stand. At first, Johnny sits quietly, but his eyes never leave his father. Every loaded question E.J. fires at Chanel chips away at Johnny's patience. It's not justice E.J. is after, it's domination. Johnny's jaw tightens. His pulse pounds in his ears. Finally, he can't take another second. He rises from his seat, his voice slicing through the tension like a blade. I've got 2 words for you. He steps forward, locking eyes with EJ in a stare so cold it could freeze fire. You're fired. A gasp sweeps through the gallery. Even the judge's gavel doesn't immediately break the shock. This isn't just a son rejecting his father, it's a public dethroning, stripping EJ of his power in front of the entire legal arena. And in that instant, something fundamental in the DiMera family fractures. This isn't a wound that will heal easily, and both men know it. Far from the chaos of the courtroom, Belle Black seeks out Marlena Evans. They sit in the quiet of Marlena's office, the hum of the clock on the wall the only sound between them. Belle leans forward, her voice low but laced with urgency. You know something, don't you? About the shooting. Marlena's hands rest in her lap, fingers curling slightly. Her eyes flicker with the burden of a truth she's not ready to say out loud. She hesitates, not because she doesn't have an answer, but because speaking it could change everything. Finally, she exhales, the decision made. I have a theory, she admits, her voice steady but heavy. She explains that it's not just a guess, it's based on what she's seen in EJ's latest hypnosis sessions, on subtle cues that most would miss, and on fragments of fear in Rachel's behavior that no child could fake. Her suspicion? That Rachel herself might have pulled the trigger, and that her mind has locked the memory away, burying it in self-preservation. Belle's eyes widen. If Marlena is right, the trial's focus is aimed at the wrong target, and every word spoken in court is pushing them closer to a devastating truth. This isn't just a legal case anymore. It's a loaded gun waiting to go off, and Marlena may be the only one who sees it coming. In the soft glow of the Horton Town Square lights, Sophia Choi sits across from Ariana Horton, her hands wrapped tightly around a coffee cup she's barely touched. Her eyes are red-rimmed, her voice low, each word heavy with exhaustion. Nothing turned out the way I thought it would, she confesses, her voice trembling. And it's true, every step she's taken in the last few months has been a desperate scramble to keep a single, devastating secret. The truth about a baby that could upend lives if it ever came out. The stress has worn her down. Nights spent staring at the ceiling, heart-pounding with the fear of exposure. Days spent dodging questions, spinning half-truths until even she starts to lose track of what's real. But that's not the only weight on her heart. Across the square, she's caught glimpses of Tate Black and Holly Jonas, laughing together, leaning close. Every smile they share feels like a knife twisting deeper into her chest. Ari leans forward, her tone gentle but firm. Sophia, you have to let this go. Start over. Find something that's yours, not tied to all of this. But Sophia's grip on her coffee tightens, her gaze hardening. Let go? She can't. She won't. Instead, a different thought blooms, dark, determined. If she can't have Tate, maybe she can make sure Holly loses him too. And just like that, her pain takes on a new shape. This isn't just heartbreak anymore. It's strategy. It's a slow, simmering obsession, and it's only getting stronger. Across town, in the bustling hum of the Salem Inn lobby, Gwen von Leuschner spots Sarah Horton Kuriakis and makes her move. She approaches with a predator's smile, her tone dripping with false sweetness. Well, Gwen purrs, it seems Xander has finally moved on, with me. Each word is carefully sharpened, meant to slice right through Sarah's composure. She tilts her head, savoring the moment, expecting Sarah to flinch. But Sarah doesn't. Instead, her lips curve into the faintest of smirks, the kind that promises trouble. Oh, that's interesting, she replies coolly. Because I saw Xander kissing Gabby Hernandez not long ago. The effect is instant. For the briefest moment, Gwen's mask cracks, her eyes widen, her breath catches. Then she forces a laugh, trying to dismiss it as a lie, but the tremor in her voice betrays her. Sarah leans in just slightly, her voice low, almost conspiratorial. Are you sure you're the only one he's moved on with? The seed is planted, and Gwen knows it. Doubt has a way of eating away at even the strongest confidence, and Sarah just gave it fertile ground. As Gwen walks away, her smile falters. For the first time, she's not entirely sure of her grip on Xander, and in Salem, that kind of uncertainty can turn an advantage into a downfall overnight. This week isn't just about courtroom drama, it's about power shifts. Johnny wresting control from EJ could fracture the DiMera family for good. Marlena's quiet confession could set a dangerous chain of events in motion. And Rachel's fear may be the clue that unlocks the entire case. Meanwhile, in the shadows, personal rivalries, like Sarah and Gwen's, continue to fuel emotional chaos, proving once again that in Salem, the personal is always political. And Sophia's obsession? That's the kind of slow-burning storyline that could explode at exactly the wrong moment, for everyone. Betrayal, secrets, lies. This week in Days of Our Lives, the truth isn't just dangerous, it's deadly. When a son fires his father. When a doctor points to a possible killer. And when a young girl fears the truth more than the lie. You know the game has changed forever. Stay tuned, Days fans, because by the end of this week, Salem won't look the same.